Because here's what I see every single day. Smart people, capable people, high earners, responsible adults. And they are completely second guessing themselves financially. Not because they don't care, not because they're reckless, but because they're drowning in financial noise. And so everyone has an opinion. In fact, my mother says that opinions are like assholes, that everyone has one. Everyone has a rule, everyone has a right way that you should be doing something. And somewhere along the way, you were taught to trust that more than you were taught to trust yourself, which honestly is super sad. And so here's the truth of the matter. More information doesn't create clarity, alignment does. In fact, you have to have alignment or you'll never get the clarity you seek. And this is something that I struggled with a lot for a really, really long time, because anybody who's ever watched any of my stuff knows that I am not a particular rule follower. Like, yes, I can follow the rules. And yes, ultimately, I actually do like a little bit of rules and structure, but only if they really fit. Experts are tools. They are not the decision makers. In fact, in my mortgage company, PBJ Mortgage, I talk about this a lot because we are dealing with the largest financial decision of people's lives. And what I don't want is to make the decision for the person I'm talking to. It's their call. Let's talk about something that almost no one in the financial world talks about, honestly. Because if you have ever felt really good about a money decision until you talk to somebody else, or scrolled Instagram, or Googled just one more opinion, this is the episode for you. Thank you for watching another episode of Financial Mastery Simplified. I am your host, Jax Crider, and today, let's talk about something that almost no one in the financial world talks about, honestly. If you have ever felt super good about a money decision, and then you just talk to one more person, or you scrolled Instagram, or you Googled just one more opinion, this is the episode for you. Because here's what I see every single day. Smart people, capable people, high earners, responsible adults. And they are completely second guessing themselves financially. Not because they don't care, not because they're reckless, but because they're drowning in financial noise. And so everyone has an opinion. In fact, my mother says that opinions are like assholes, that everyone has one. She's not wrong. Okay? Everyone has a rule, everyone has a right way that you should be doing something. Literally everybody. And somewhere along the way, you were taught to trust that more than you were taught to trust yourself, which honestly is super sad. And I totally get this because I am ADHD. And so there's a lot of noise running around in my own head. So sometimes just differentiating that is a lot for me. So today we're going to talk about alignment, and we're going to talk about drowning out the financial noise. We're talking about how to actually listen to your own financial instincts without fear, guilt, or needing 5 people to co-sign on your decisions, okay? And yes, by the end, I'm going to tell you about a simple way that you can start practicing this immediately without overhauling your entire freaking life. So first, before we dive in too deep, let's talk about what is financial alignment. Like, what is that really? And so we're going to start here because alignment gets thrown around a lot, right? And when I say financial alignment, I'm not talking about manifesting millions overnight, ignoring the math and pretending like it doesn't exist because the math is the math, or pretending like reality doesn't exist. Alignment is actually an incredibly practical thing. Financial alignment is when your money and your decisions match. That's it. Your values, your real life, your current season, because those change over the course of time, your nervous system, your long-term goals, not what you should want, not what you think TikTok says you should prioritize, or what your best friend's cousin's uncle, sister's dog wanted you to do, not what worked for your coworker or some loud financial guru. Alignment is the strategy that fits you. Because if there were one universal right way, everyone would be following it and everyone would be thriving. But the thing is that not everybody was created equal. Each person was created super unique, super different. And so that isn't what's happening. And truthfully, it isn't a personal failure. It's proof that the system isn't designed for humans, it's designed for averages. So why is the financial noise so freaking loud? And here's why the noise is so intense, particularly right now. And first of all, that is because the algorithms reward extremes. So no one goes viral saying it depends. Ask me how I know, because I say it depends all the freaking time. And the truth is, it does depend. And second of all, most financial advice is designed for mass appeal. It doesn't know, because they're making a video, your income structure, your family situation and dynamics, your risk tolerance, what you are willing to do or not do, your emotional history with money, how that looks, what your upbringing was, or what actually even freaking matters to you. They literally have no idea. And third, somewhere along the way, most of us learned, if I feel unsure, I must need more information. And so here's the truth of the matter. More information doesn't create clarity, alignment does. Okay? In fact, you have to have alignment or you'll never get the clarity you seek. And so what the noise actually creates is decision paralysis, constant starting and stopping, guilt for breaking the rules, whatever in the hell those are, and this deep distrust of yourself. And the distrust, it's expensive because most costly financial mistakes isn't about choosing the wrong strategy. It's never committing to any strategy because you don't trust yourself enough to stay the course. And again, roll back to a minute ago when I told you that I was ADHD. I have this quintessential problem all the time. There are so many moments that I'm like, man, I am the problem. Why in the world am I not just stepping back and asking myself questions? And so, the real problem is, and let me say this super freaking clearly, is that you are not bad with money and you are not behind and you are not broken. You have just been trained to outsource your confidence. And this is something that is not just a struggle for you. It's a struggle for most people. Most people don't struggle with money because they lack discipline. They struggle because they've been taught to ignore their own instincts. And half the time, they don't even really know what those instincts are. And if you don't trust yourself, every decision is going to feel heavy, even the good one. And you're going to be questioning yourself on, was that even the right decision that I just made? So let's talk about how we can change this from a practical point of view. So there are a few best practices for listening to your own financial voice. So here they are. Practice number 1, quiet before you consume. Say that again. Quiet before you consume. So before you ask everyone else, before you Google it, before you scroll, before you just go diving into a bunch of books or whatever your way of obtaining information is, I want you to step back and I want you to just simply pause. Just pause. That's it. Then I want you to ask yourself, what do I think the next right step is here? What makes the most sense for me? Not for Bill, your neighbor next door, or your coworker, Susan, or whoever the heck else. You. Not the perfect step, not the forever decision, just the next one. What's the next step? And so alignment shows up quietly. Noise is what's really loud. And so with this pause, we are asking ourselves to start drowning it out and to start listening to the small, still voice that is inside of us that we all have that can help us yield the best decision.
Stay tuned. We'll be back right after this message from our sponsors.
Welcome to Financial Mastery Simplified, your go-to podcast for making smart money decisions. We break down complex financial topics into easy-to-understand advice you can use every day. Our experts cover everything from budgeting and saving to investing and retirement planning. We give you the tools to take control of your money and build the future you want. With Financial Mastery Simplified, you'll feel informed and empowered to make the best choices for your financial health. Tune in to Financial Mastery Simplified on your favorite podcast platform. Start your journey to financial confidence today.
Visit us at fms.tips and fms.college for more information.
Welcome to House U, where we believe in the power of education. At House U, we're more than just a brand. We're your partner in home ownership, dedicated to educating, equipping, and empowering you every step of the way. Education is at the heart of everything we do. We offer comprehensive resources designed to make home ownership simple and accessible for all. From understanding mortgage options to mastering home maintenance, House U provides the knowledge you need to make informed decisions with confidence. We host workshops and seminars, bringing together experts and community members to share insights and build a stronger, more informed community. Because when you're educated, you're empowered. House U, home ownership made simple for all. Visit our website or contact us today to start your journey with House U. Empower yourself with knowledge and embrace the joy of home ownership.
Thanks for your patience. Now back to our conversation.
And so let's talk about what practice number 2 is. Practice number 2 is notice expansion versus contraction. Again, I'm going to repeat that. Practice 2, notice expansion versus contraction. So after financial decision, I want you to check in with your body. And again, I understand this sounds a little woo-woo. Just go with me for a minute. Do you feel relief or tension? Do we feel calm or spiraled, triggered? Your body actually gives feedback long before your brain catches up. How your body is reacting is a huge way to know if this is something that is right for you or not. And it isn't about ignoring logic. It's about noticing when something looks good on paper, but feels wrong in practice. And this is something that I struggled with a lot for a really, really long time. Because anybody who's ever watched any of my stuff knows that I am not a particular rule follower. Like, yes, I can follow the rules. And yes, ultimately, I actually do like a little bit of rules and structure, but only if they really fit. Because a lot of times I'm over here trying to rewrite my own set of rules, and that's because I naturally want to listen to my own instincts. And I think everyone is actually deep down like that. We just don't always want to admit that. So that's why we're going to check in with our body and just say, oh, okay, what's going on here? What's happening? Practice 3 is fear sounds different than instinct. Again, I'm going to repeat. Practice 3, fear sounds different than instinct. So what exactly do I mean by that? Fear is loud and fear is urgent. Fear demands certainty right now. You have to know everything. And instinct, well, it's a lot quieter, steadier, calmer, okay? And so fear says to you, what if everything goes wrong? What am I going to do then? Whereas instinct says, this feels right, even if it's a little bit uncomfortable. And spoiler alert, things for the most part are uncomfortable, especially if they're involving growth. And learning to listen to ourselves and really tune in to where life's taking us, it does get a little bit uncomfortable sometimes. So we just kind of have to lean into that. So learning the difference really does change everything when it comes to listening to our instincts. And so let's talk about the 4th practice, which is stop borrowing confidence. Again, I'm going to repeat it. Stop borrowing confidence. So what I mean by this is that experts are tools. They are not the decision makers. In fact, in my mortgage company, PBJ Mortgage, I talk about this a lot because we are dealing with the largest financial decision of people's lives. And what I don't want is to make the decision for the person I'm talking to. It's their call. Yes, I am the expert in how mortgages work, how I can get the thing accomplished, but I am not the expert on your life. I am not the expert on how this all looks for you. That's your job. I'm supposed to lay it out. And so it's super, super, super important to remember that experts are the tools and they are not the decision makers. So use the advice to inform you, not to override you. And so often I think we want to outsource our power and just say, you know what, like they're probably smarter than me. They're probably more educated than me. They are the expert in this field. They're just going to make the call for me. But the problem is that doesn't always mean that it's the call you needed or wanted to make. Maybe it is, but you should be checking in with yourself. And so if the advice makes you feel smaller, ashamed, disconnected from yourself, it's probably not aligned for you, right? Again, this is why both of my brands educate, either emphasize or equip, whichever one your brand you're talking about, and empower. Why empower? Because you should feel when you made the decision that it was a good one for you, that it was exactly what you wanted to make, right? Okay, practice 5. Build trust through small wins. Okay, so what exactly do I mean by that? Well, self-trust wasn't built through some massive leap. It wasn't like you went from having $20 in your account to $2 million, okay? That's not how that worked. So we have to build these small things to be able to get to the massive leap. So it's built through those small decisions. The fact that we are going to actually stick with it and we're going to follow through. We're going to keep promises to ourselves. So if we told ourselves, hey, we're not going to go out to eat this week because I'm going to put that money aside for something specific, we're going to actually keep that promise. Because the promise doesn't affect my life or your next door neighbor's life. It affects your life. So keeping promises to yourself is super, super important. So every aligned decision, even the tiny one, teaches your brain, I can trust me. I can trust what I'm saying. I trust that I'm going to actually do the thing. And that compounds so freaking fast because your brain is going to start, you're going to activate that reticular activating system and you're going to be looking for those wins. You're going to be looking for all those things that are put together, and you're going to start seeing the real confidence. And the confidence has always been within you if you simply would just lean in and you simply would just look for it. But I get it. We're not taught to do that. We're not taught to believe in ourselves and to know that we can do things, but we should be. And so this is actually the reason that I created my signature program called Financial Instinct Framework, because I got to a point where I just got so frustrated seeing so many super smart, intelligent, hardworking people, and they felt like they were failing. And from my vantage point, I saw them as these like super successful people, these people that had all their stuff together, but they didn't feel that way. And who wants to live like that? And so it's not really supposed to tell you what to do with your money and not supposed to shove you into a box. It's also to give you another rigid plan. What it's supposed to do is help you quiet out the noise, help you identify your natural financial instincts, help you rebuild trust with yourself, and create a money plan that actually is going to fit your life, something that you can actually stick with so you can keep those small promises to yourself, so you can create and establish that confidence. Because confidence doesn't come from copying somebody else. I could give you my entire plan, exactly how I handle everything in my life, and you could copy every single thing, and it would still probably not work for you because it comes from alignment, which has been the purpose of this entire episode. Is alignment is going to be the key. So what I'm going to say now is if this episode hits you and you're not really quite ready for like a full reset yet, you're kind of looking to take like a little step, but nothing like majorly huge, like Financial Instincts Framework, which is a little bit more of a commitment to yourself. I did create a little easy rebuilding trust with your money thing that you can go ahead and download. It doesn't have spreadsheets or overwhelm. It isn't about blowing up your life. It's just something that is simple and fast and can be consumed in about 10 minutes. So it really allows you to just start resetting yourself. And then hopefully, as you continue down this journey, you will start stepping more and more into yourself. Because the first step is towards drowning out the noise and is listening to yourself again. Because the first step towards drowning out the noise is just listening to yourself again. It's literally that simple. And so you will find a link in the show notes where you can have access to either one of those resources if you want to join Financial Instincts Framework and be a part of that bigger program. If you just want a free resource, or even there's like a step kind of in between. Whatever feels right and aligned for you, that's really what I'm looking for. My goal is to always create awareness because it isn't my life. I want you to live your life on your terms. That is literally the entire premise of pretty much everything I do in life, pretty much everything I do in this podcast. My ultimate goal is to make sure that you are living the life you want to and that you feel successful. And financial success is probably the greatest indicator of somebody's ultimate feeling of self-worth, which is why I talk about money all the time. And so I'm just going to leave you with this. You don't need more advice, and you don't need more rules, and you don't need more opinions. You need permission to simply trust yourself again and listen to the quiet, still voice that exists inside of you, whether that's your gut, your head, your heart, whichever thing is what calls to you, that's what it is. And the moment that you do, it's going to change everything. I really hope that this episode of Financial Mastery Simplified was helpful for you, just kind of drilling down and giving you some super practical steps on ways that you can continue to reset yourself, reset your life, and go forward. We'll see you again on next week's episode of Financial Mastery Simplified.